We just talk entertainment. Share and subscribe.
Hey guys, welcome to Entertainment Talk Nation. This is Rob. This video, we're going to do my review for The Flash, episode entitled Plastique. Once again, a very solid episode. I was so upset last week when I was watching it and I'm like, it's a repeat. But nice to be back on to new episodes. And once again, I mean, this show continues to just be enjoyable to watch for me. Like, I find myself smiling a lot. Like, when he ran up the side of the building, to me, that was just freaking awesome. And I'm just sitting there like a big kid, like, wow, that's awesome. But yeah, I mean, continue to see metahumans coming out. We know that a couple of weeks ago we got Captain Cold, and we know now that more or less is probably going to be a consistent villain he's going to have to deal with. This week he dealt with a metahuman that wasn't necessarily evil, which is a good change. You know, not all metahumans should all be evil. I think I like the fact that this metahuman was very conflicted. She obviously had rogue syndrome, which I'm calling it. She couldn't really touch people. Instead, obviously, of taking people's powers like Rogue does, she causes people to explode or causes objects, whatever she touches, to explode. And I think the biggest deal in this episode for me is we continue to see that Dr. Wells has almost a role in everything, you know? And I'm not a DC comic expert, so I don't know if the gorilla at the end of the episode plays any significance, if that's like a mutant turned, you know, a gorilla turned villain, some sort of, I don't know any of that. So I don't know what the significance is. I'm sure the show will obviously educate me on that, but right now, I don't know. I don't know if there's other people who might know. I don't know if it's comic book related, but I'm sure some of you guys will let me know in the comments. But, you know, again, it's one of those things where, you know, this is something he's constantly going to have to deal with, other metahumans. In this particular case, now we have to wonder if the sergeant, or rather, I shouldn't say sergeant, I think it was a general, and it was so awesome. I don't remember the actor's name, but every time I see him, I always think of Starship Troopers, because he was so awesome in that movie. Medic! Every time you heard somebody, he called him medic. It was great. But it was nice to see him in the show, and I'm hoping he's at least a regular. Not someone we'll see all the time, but, you know, he's still alive. He's still I think he's still going to be in the fold. He may or may not be. Who knows? But if he is, it won't be disappointing, that's for sure. I like him as an actor. He's always, every time I have seen him play whatever small roles he's played throughout his career, it's always been very good. So I'm hoping he's there for a little bit longer. You know, the interesting development between Iris and Barry is now it's taken a turn where he's going to, pretty much sounds like he's going to be avoiding her. And, you know, I kind of was hoping he would tell her at the end, because, you know, she is going to draw unwanted attention towards herself if she continues writing about him. Because, you know, if he runs into any villains, or if Captain Cold's a good example. If Captain Cold happens to catch whim of her blogs, he may very well try to, you know, go after her or see if she knows Barry. Because Captain Cold knows that that's going to be the one thing that's going to stand in his way to doing the things he likes to do. So, but again, it was a good episode. I enjoyed it. I continue to like the exchange with Joe and Barry. I mean, that's probably some of the best moments of the episode for me. And this episode is no exception. I mean, we see Joe and Barry having a moment talking about Iris and her blog, and Joe pretty much confesses that he's known all along that Barry has loved his daughter. And obviously he would love nothing more to have Barry be with her. Maybe not so much now, but at the time that he knew about it, he would have loved to have seen it happen. But, you know, it didn't. Barry is kind of a shy guy, and he hasn't, even to this day, hasn't told Iris that he, you know, loves her. Now, the other interesting thing is I'm surprised that at the end of the show that Iris didn't kind of put two and two together. You know, she gets a visit from the Flash. Twice Barry has tried to dissuade her from writing the blog, so I'm surprised she kind of didn't at least get an idea that he might be the Flash, unless that's what happened at the end, because that also crossed my mind. Like, maybe for a minute she thought it could be Barry, but then I saw her crying, and I'm like, all right, well, obviously that's probably not what she's thinking about. She's probably thinking about, all right, I just lost my friend who I thought I was helping, and now he doesn't want to see me anymore. You know, so it's kind of hard to tell, but I would think that I at least in my opinion would think that she would be bright enough to kind of at least consider it for one moment, but she didn't, so be that as it may, that's how it is. But overall, it was a good episode. You know, nothing too major happened, you know, in the mainstream of some of the story arcs they're developing. We always see something going on with Dr. Wells, but it's always a mystery. You know, we have some decent ideas. You know, I'm still kind of wondering if he's really helping Barry, or if, he's in the long run going to hurt him. It seems to me like in the long run he could hurt Barry, but we still don't have any conclusive evidence that he's out to really hurt him. We know that he's protecting him to the point that he's already killed one person, and he's already pretty much threatened Cisco. So it seems like he's like overwhelmingly protective of Barry, but we just don't know if that's a good thing or not. It doesn't seem like a good thing to me, obviously. And I thought the alcohol thing was funny too. Every time he drinks alcohol, it doesn't matter how much alcohol level is in there, he can't get drunk. That's frustrating, especially when you consider you're a superhero. You go out there, you save people, it's a stressful job, you want to get a drink and you can't even cut loose, man. That stinks. But overall, it was a fun episode. I liked it. I've been enjoying this series since it started. I've always liked the Flash. I always thought he was one of the coolest superheroes out there. And this show is just delivers on a lot of elements. It has obviously the good Flash moments, the action moments, the stories developing into something that's pretty good and mysterious. We do have a primary villain on the field that we're not going to see all the time, but we know he's out there and we know he's going to play an important role. And then we have a great relationship between Barry and what would be considered his stepfather in some respects, which is one of my favorite things of the show is their exchange. And it's just a solid show. It's a lot of fun. This was a solid episode. Nice little change that we find a metahuman that's conflicted, not necessarily evil. She doesn't want to hurt other people. She just was trying to look for her way, and it's unfortunate she died. But the water scene was cool too. Running on the water, that was awesome. And yeah, I mean, what else is there to say? It was a solid episode, and obviously, I'm hoping that maybe next week looks really good. Did you see the coming attractions for that? Oh my God, he punches that guy and his arm breaks, and the guy looks like he's going to be Colossus. I mean, not that he's going to be Colossus. He can't be Colossus. Colossus is Marvel, but a very Colossus-like character. So I don't know. Again, not a DC expert. I don't know if that's a DC influenced character or if it's something original. So, but either way, it looks very good. So, but yeah, that's it. That's it for this video, guys. So what did you think about this episode? It was pretty solid. Highlights for me were primarily the exchange with Joe and Barry, the exchange with Iris and Barry as well, or as the Flash, but trying to put that under control. And I thought it was a nice twist that we got a metahuman that wasn't necessarily evil, and it was very good to see that veteran actor, whose name I can't remember at the moment. I'm sure somebody in the comments will mention it, but he's been in tons of movies, including Starship Troopers, and he's just fun to watch when he's on screen. He's real fun. So anyway, guys, that's it for this video. This is Rob signing off for ETN, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Take it easy.
Thank you for watching ETN. Don't forget to comment, share, and subscribe. Join the nation's Facebook page to meet other subscribers or visit ETN's Facebook page and Twitter page. Links for all are in the description. You're watching ETN, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Share and subscribe.
Hey guys, welcome to Entertainment Talk Nation. This is Rob. This video, we're going to do my review for The Flash, episode entitled Plastique. Once again, a very solid episode. I was so upset last week when I was watching it, and I'm like, it's a repeat. But nice to be back on to new episodes. And once again, I mean, this show continues to just be enjoyable to watch for me. Like, I find myself smiling a lot. Like, when he ran up the side of the building, to me, that was just freaking awesome. And I'm just sitting there like a big kid, like, wow, that's awesome. But yeah, I mean, continue to see metahumans coming out. We know that a couple of weeks ago we got Captain Cold, and we know now that more or less is probably going to be a consistent villain he's going to have to deal with. This week he dealt with a metahuman that wasn't necessarily evil, which is a good change. Not all metahumans should all be evil. I think I like the fact that this metahuman was very conflicted. She obviously had rogue syndrome, which I like. I'm calling it. She couldn't really touch people.